A legacy of threats, Putin's history of intimidation. Vladimir Putin, the long-standing leader of Russia, has built a reputation on a foundation of fear and coercion. His tactics have not only shaped Russia's domestic policies, but have also had far-reaching implications on the international stage. This narrative is meticulously documented by Timothy Snyder, a renowned historian from Yale University, who has extensively studied the geopolitical maneuvers of Putin and their impact on global politics. Vladimir Putin's reign has been marked by a constant barrage of threats directed at Ukraine. These threats are not mere words, but are often backed by significant military posturing and strategic deployments along the Ukrainian border. These threats, often veiled in rhetoric about protecting Russian interests and preventing NATO expansion, have sought to undermine Ukrainian sovereignty and independence. Putin's speeches frequently emphasize the perceived encroachment of Western powers, using this narrative to justify aggressive actions. From the annexation of Crimea in 2014 to the ongoing war, Putin has consistently utilized threats as a tool to intimidate Ukraine and dissuade it from pursuing closer ties with the West. The annexation of Crimea was a bold move that sent shockwaves through the international community, signaling a new era of Russian assertiveness. These threats have taken various forms, ranging from military deployments and economic sanctions to cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. Each tactic is carefully chosen to exploit vulnerabilities and create a sense of instability within Ukraine. Putin's aim has been to sow fear and discord within Ukrainian society, weaken its resolve, and ultimately bend the nation to his will. By creating internal strife, he hopes to make Ukraine more malleable to Russian influence. However, Ukraine's response to these threats has been one of defiance and resilience, demonstrating the limits of Putin's coercive tactics. The Ukrainian people have shown remarkable unity and determination in the face of adversity, refusing to be cowed by external pressures. The international community has largely condemned Putin's aggressive posture towards Ukraine. Global leaders have repeatedly called for de-escalation and have expressed solidarity with Ukraine's right to self-determination. Western nations have imposed sanctions on Russia, provided military aid to Ukraine, and reaffirmed their commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty. These measures are intended to deter further aggression and support Ukraine in its struggle for independence. However, these measures have thus far failed to deter Putin from his course of action, raising concerns about the potential for a wider conflict in Eastern Europe. The persistent tension has led to a precarious situation that could escalate at any moment. As the crisis continues to unfold, it is crucial to understand the historical context of Putin's threats, the factors that have emboldened him, and the potential consequences of his actions for Ukraine, Europe, and the world. The roots of this conflict are deep, and the ramifications are profound. The future stability and security of the region hinge on finding a peaceful resolution to this dangerous standoff. Diplomatic efforts must be intensified to prevent further escalation and to pave the way for lasting peace in Eastern Europe. Defiance in Kursk, Ukraine turns the tide. The situation in Kursk offers a stark illustration of Ukraine's defiance against Russian aggression. This region, bordering Ukraine and historically significant to Russia, has become a focal point of the conflict. Putin and his propagandists attempted to use Kursk as a staging ground for their narrative, claiming Ukrainian aggression and the need to protect Russian speakers. However, Ukraine's response was swift, decisive, and resolute. They effectively countered Russian disinformation campaigns, exposing their falsehoods to the world. Ukrainian forces, bolstered by Western training and equipment, repelled Russian advances and even launched counter-offensives, pushing back against the invaders. This resistance in Kursk, mirroring similar successes across the front lines, has shattered the image of Russian military might that Putin had carefully cultivated. It has shown the world that Ukraine is not a passive victim, but a determined force, capable of defending its territory and its people. The success in Kursk has had a profound impact on the conflict. It has bolstered Ukrainian morale, weakened Russian resolve, and demonstrated to the international community the effectiveness of their support. This victory, small in scale but significant in symbolism, has become a beacon of hope for Ukraine and a testament to the courage of its people. The arsenal of democracy, Western aid fuels Ukrainian resistance. A pivotal factor in Ukraine's ability to withstand Russian aggression has been the substantial military aid provided by Western nations. This aid has come in various forms, ranging from advanced weaponry to essential training programs for Ukrainian soldiers. The support has been a lifeline for Ukraine, enabling it to stand firm against a much larger and better equipped adversary. Recognizing the existential threat posed by Putin's invasion, countries like the United States, the United Kingdom and Germany have committed billions of dollars worth of weaponry, equipment and training to bolster Ukraine's defenses. This commitment has not only been financial, but also strategic, involving the deployment of advisors and experts to assist in planning and execution. From Javelin anti-tank missiles to high-mobility artillery rocket systems, or HIMARS, Western weapons have proven instrumental in enabling Ukrainian forces to inflict heavy casualties on the invading Russian army and slow its advance. These advanced systems have given Ukrainian troops a technological edge, allowing them to target and destroy key Russian assets with precision. This assistance has not been limited to lethal aid. Intelligence sharing, logistical support and financial assistance have also been crucial in sustaining Ukraine's war effort. Real-time intelligence has allowed Ukrainian forces to anticipate and counter Russian moves effectively, while logistical support has ensured that supplies and reinforcements reach the front lines without delay. The influx of Western military aid has had a significant impact on the battlefield, tilting the balance of power in favor of Ukraine. This shift has been evident in the numerous battlefield victories that Ukrainian forces have achieved, reclaiming key territories and disrupting Russian supply lines. It has allowed Ukrainian forces to mount a more effective defense, reclaim lost territory, and inflict significant losses on the Russian military. These successes have not only boosted the morale of Ukrainian troops, but have also galvanized international support for their cause. This support has sent a clear message to Putin that the international community stands with Ukraine and will not allow it to be overrun by Russian aggression. Global protests and political speeches have echoed this sentiment, reinforcing the resolve of Western nations to support Ukraine. However, the need for continued and even increased military aid remains paramount. As the conflict drags on, the demands on Ukraine's military resources grow, necessitating a sustained flow of support from its allies. As the war drags on, Ukraine requires a steady stream of weapons and ammunition to sustain its fight for survival. The supply chains established by Western countries have been vital in ensuring that Ukrainian forces remain well-equipped and ready to face ongoing challenges. The West must remain steadfast in its commitment to providing Ukraine with the means to defend itself and ultimately achieve a just and lasting peace. This unwavering support is crucial not only for Ukraine's survival, but also for the broader principles of international law and sovereignty. Psychological warfare. Putin's game of fear. Beyond conventional military tactics, Putin has consistently employed psychological warfare to undermine Ukrainian morale and sow discord within the international community. This strategy is not just about physical confrontation, but also about manipulating perceptions and emotions to achieve his goals. These tactics, designed to instill fear and uncertainty, have been a hallmark of his regime's approach to the conflict. By creating an atmosphere of constant threat, Putin aims to weaken the resolve of both the Ukrainian people and their international allies. One prominent aspect of this strategy has been the repeated threats of nuclear escalation. These threats serve a dual purpose. They intimidate adversaries and rally domestic support by portraying Putin as a strong leader defending Russia against external threats. By brandishing Russia's nuclear arsenal, Putin aims to deter Western support for Ukraine and coerce Kyiv into accepting his demands. The mere suggestion of nuclear conflict is enough to create widespread fear and hesitation among those who might otherwise support Ukraine more robustly. This nuclear saber-rattling, while reckless and dangerous, has been a constant backdrop to the conflict, contributing to a climate of anxiety and fear. The economic repercussions are also significant. As markets react to the instability, further pressuring governments to reconsider their positions. Putin's psychological warfare also relies heavily on disinformation and propaganda. By controlling the narrative, he seeks to justify his actions and delegitimize the Ukrainian government. Russian state-controlled media outlets have relentlessly spread false narratives about the conflict, portraying Ukraine as a neo-Nazi state and justifying the invasion as a necessary measure to protect Russian interests. This portrayal is designed to evoke strong emotional reactions and justify aggressive actions. This disinformation campaign, disseminated through traditional media channels and social media platforms, seeks to manipulate public opinion both domestically and internationally. By flooding the information space with lies, Putin aims to create confusion and doubt, making it harder for the truth to emerge. By understanding the nature and objectives of Putin's psychological warfare campaign, the international community can better counter his efforts to sow discord and undermine support for Ukraine. Recognizing these tactics is the first step in developing effective countermeasures. Exposing his lies, providing accurate information, and highlighting Ukrainian resilience are crucial steps in mitigating the impact of Russia's psychological operations. The resilience of the Ukrainian people and the solidarity of the international community are powerful tools in this ongoing battle of wills.